Hey everybody, Jimmy here. I am going to start recording videos of the FAA weather cams over Alaska. There's some recent YouTubes, and let me just find the channel that she's on. Universal News Media. And if you look up Universal News Media on YouTube, you'll also find this reports of these AV cams. First thing in doing, and this is kind of a little primer on maybe helping out and doing some of this research. First you can go to the Alaska Visible GOES satellite, and you'll get an idea of where the cloud cover is, if it's clear or not. For instance, these are clear spots. We can actually look at the loop that plays of the cloud cover and the sunrise, the edge or shadow of the sun as it rises across. So I'm working right now today in this area, which is eastern Alaska, maybe some clear spots here in Canada or down here in British Columbia. So that's kind of how you can scope out this map, which is the FAA. Basically, it's avcam, avcams.faa.gov, and it'll take you to this page. Now, I happen to be zoomed in a little bit here, but I did find a real quick one that I'm going to start with, which is the the Northway Alaska view to the east. And if you later on you'll see some other videos that actually show the planets that are being hidden. The reason I'm doing a recording is it's just easier to do a recording and look at the video in motion versus saving each file and then having to redo this. So this is the sunrise as it goes by, and I'll explain what's happening here. This one is particularly interesting just from the standpoint that it is facing east, and each of these frames that we're going through here are 10 minutes each. So there's the sunrise, and what you see here, I believe, is a lens flare because it goes, or a lens reflection because it goes in the opposite direction. However, here you have what looks like a double sun now, and the idea here is that this is an artificial simulated sun that is placed between the Earth and the sun, and however in front of planets that are showing up in the backgrounds of these videos. If you want to look now, you can go to Universal News Media and see a couple of her shots there. I may bring one up just to illustrate what we're looking for. So again, this is 10 minutes later, and we see what looks to be a pretty normal sun, except that it's so big. Now, when I look at the sky, the sun is maybe about this big when I actually look at the sun. So why is it that this is so large, and what are these flares and reflections coming off of the sun up in the sky? You can tell it's in the sky because it's reflecting a prism effect on the high clouds or the high chemical engineering that's in the sky, this haze. So that's of interest in this particular video. And I'm going to pause for a moment and be right back. Okay, we're back. These are some of the photographs that I actually copied via Save As off the cam. This is Tok looking to the southwest. Tok is about 8 hours east of Anchorage in Alaska. So I'm going to scroll through the pictures as best I can here. Let's see. Okay. And what you're seeing here is right here, you can see this, what appears to be a planet or an approaching planet, which is described in other videos. Here's another look at it. I haven't gone in and done any Photoshop on this, but I'm planning to do so, where I can increase the contrast. So you can see I'm going back and forth here through these little series of pictures, and now I'll just progress through the movement of the sun in the sky, and you can see how the planet then gets completely obscured from the sun, and you'll notice the black spot on the sun. The theory is this is a sun simulator that's placed between the Earth and the sun to obscure out these approaching planets, apparently. Oftentimes you'll see the sun simulator. This device won't have a black dot. In other photographs it does. These lines and rays shooting off the sun are consistent as they move with the sun, where you'll see this as a lens flare or a lens reflection will go in the opposite direction of the sun as it is an actual lens distortion, I guess you might say. However, these lines, these rays shooting off the sun, I believe are reflections from the sun simulator. The panels, they're hexagonal panels that actually collect and redirect the sun and produce this giant sun object in the sky. So this is Chistachina looking to the southwest. I'm sorry, this is Mount McKinley looking to the southeast, McKinley North. And we again can see the difference in sizes of these sun simulator as they adjust it to block out other medias, or excuse me, other objects that may appear in the sky. So I'm flipping through these, just enlarging them a little bit. Still McKinley looking to the southeast, just of interest. And then we get a complete zap out of the shot, whatever that happened there, but the black dot is still present in this photograph here. Okay, this is Summit looking to the southeast. The reason I pulled this one was again to show the movement of a lens flare or a lens reflection moving in the opposite direction of the sun, as it should, as reflected objects move in the opposite direction. Okay, this is Black Rapids, Alaska looking to the south, and what's interesting is how the simulator is so strong in its light that it completely obliterates the stanchion here on this tower to where you can't even see it. You can't see any part of the tower. Can't figure out quite why that is. Okay, this one is interesting here because you'll watch the sun here. It's a huge object, and as this moves across in front of this stanchion here, you can see again it's blocking out the it's completely dousing the framework that's in front. And there, when we do pass behind the structure there, the sun simulator disappears and is shown in what would be its actual size, similar to looking at the sun when there's an eclipse. We can then see around the edges of the sun. And as it comes out around, again, obliterating the dark light in front. This is Chistachina looking to the east, so this is the sunrise. And here again, note the size of this image here as it then comes up. We'll go across, again, blocked out, and pops through again. Interesting. Okay, this one here's a sun simulator without the black dot. It's apparently the angle that we're looking at. These reflections here, if you just think of the sun and then a mirror between the sun, creating this prism blast or prism effect in a circular array around it. There's more of that to show. This happens to be Tok to the southeast. This is just Tuesday, March 27th, a couple days, yesterday actually. And here again, very, very confusing to see this spread of light reflecting around the sun. Again, my contention is these are not reflections on the lens because they travel with the sun and they project down and in front. So this is how the light from this source gets in front of the objects like we saw on the tower. Here's an interesting one here too. The reflection is now blocked out from here. There's probably something in front of the light that's projecting down here up on the machine. And looking at this too, the light now is expanding probably to block something out below, which looks like it could be, let's see if we can see anything in here. Possible kind of maybe a planet here and here, and notable is this little what is termed an aircraft of some kind or a directing device. So here's the sunrise in Shungak. Sun is below the horizon. Sun simulator pops through, douses out all the light in front of the foreground. Here's your lens reflection, something reflecting off the lens going in the opposite direction again. And notice these sprites or shoots coming off of it in all directions. These are actual photographs, unedited. Here's another shadow of blocking out of the reflection of the sun simulator. You can look this stuff up on YouTube. Also, NASA even has a commercial illustrating a sun simulator. And I'll just pass through some of these. Just interesting to see all this light and reflection coming off of it, almost like sundogs. And here's your rainbow prism effect. Again, it persists as even the sun is now out of the camera, direct view of the camera. We're still getting the light anomalies coming off the sun here. And this one's from the North Slope. I found this interesting because look how abnormal this looks. The same thing with the spot on the sun. Watch how the spot expands. The sun simulator appears to just distort light this way. Here's your lens flare, again moving in the opposite direction. And here's a little shadow appearance. Something again is blocking the light as the sun moves across, or the sun simulator moves across the sky. And just look at how crazy that is. Again, these are actual photographs. This is not the camera just deciding that it wants to put a spot in the camera. And this is the North Slope Southwest camera, same day. We again see the spot on the sun just turning purple and just anomalous, or I don't know what it is, what you would call that. Kind of a plasma looking purple. Maybe that's plasma light leaking through. And there again, here's your lens. Oops. Here's your lens reflection. I think I lost it. Okay, here's where we left off. Oops, let's see. Okay. Again, that's the North Slope Southwest camera. The sun is setting. I was pointing out the lens reflection in that case. And this one, this is Alakat. And what I'm seeing interesting here is this looks like a spherical object here on this particular view. We'll just scroll through and see what we get. Not much. Okay, here again, this is over Canada. You can see here the this aberration coming from the sun simulator off camera. And then what is this? Moving with the sun, some kind of real strange effect coming off there. I'm not sure what that is. You'd think it was the camera, but who knows? But when the sun stops, it's gone, and you lose direct sight. Notice all of this lens, this flaring of the light through the trees. This is reflecting off of this object into the sky. Hard to say. And finally, this is just an odd piece I got from Akeok. I mean, that could be water on the lens, but here you have the sun spot showing up. And there, what could be an interesting view of the potential planet there that is not moving, but remains. But let's move on here. Okay, that's enough for now. I'll be back later with more.